Well, hey, friend, David Sawyer here. I am a safety coach. I help busy safety managers and new safety managers and managers that are new to safety. I help them go from feeling overwhelmed to OSHA ready. So you can be confident, you can be clear, and you can have peace of mind that you're working on the right thing at the right time. And if you feel overwhelmed, if you feel like you don't know what you don't know or you don't have time to figure it all out, this is a episode you don't want to miss. I'm going to be talking with Damian Langley, who's here on behalf of the Wilmington Safety School. Now, for those of you who don't know, the Wilmington Safety School is a premier safety conference in my state of North Carolina. Now, don't tune out. If you're in another state, this will still be worth your time because we're not just talking about the Wilmington Safety School. We're also going to be talking about the importance of getting plugged in with a local safety conference. And wherever you live in the great United States of America, there is a safety conference near you. So let's dive in. Damian, I want you to start us off. Tell me about the safety school, how it came to be, and how you got involved with it.
Well, thanks for having me, David. The Wilmington Regional Safety and Health School is actually the oldest safety school in North Carolina. We started out in like 1950, and it started off as just a safety school focusing on the problems with the fertilizer industry in Wilmington. But as it came along, it grew, more companies joined. And then later on, I think like 1982, the safety school was incorporated and it became a nonprofit. And since then, it's just continued to grow. We really tried to focus in on local education for companies in the area. You hear about conferences out of state, some of them even out of country. But we try to make it affordable and try to make it for our local industry here at home.
That is fascinating. You just told me something I didn't even know. I did not know that it started because of the fertilizer business in the area. That's really interesting.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. And of course, this was kind of before our time, but at that point in time, fertilizer, you think about some of the old companies that were around, was really big around here. And then manufacturing took off out here. You think about the Herc Celaneses, and then the DuPonts come in, GE. And so all of these companies came together. And once that happened, Wilmington Safety School was really able to move forward outside the fertilizer industry, but all manufacturing in the area really came together for the conference.
Yeah, and it's funny. I lived in Wilmington for about 20 years. Maybe a little more than 20 years. I'm still not far from you. I'm just up the coast. I moved up to Topsail about 5 years ago. But that's one of the reasons I'm excited about the Wilmington Safety School, because it's right in my backyard. And a lot of people don't realize there's safety conferences oftentimes within an hour or maybe an hour and a half drive from where you are. And so it is really beneficial to take advantage of these local chapters and local schools. How did you get involved with it, Damian?
Well, I was working as a chemical operator at a chemical plant. And to be honest with you, David, I went to get out of work one Thursday and Friday. It was going to be
Hey, I hear that.
it was going to be some overtime. And, I was doing shift work and working outside. And I said, well, the safety manager asked me about it. And I said, well, yeah, I'll go. When I went, I always was on safety committees and things of that nature. But when I went, it really affected me. And the Wilmington Safety School, for me, just me personally, is one of the biggest reasons I'm sitting here now as a safety manager. I don't think I would be where I'm at in safety if I had not have went to that school. And I was a participant year after year after year. So before I had anything to do with the board, I was an actual student out in the at the table.
That is fascinating. So, yeah, and you're not alone in that. Just to say, I'm sure there's plenty of people that are listening to this that thought, yeah, I attended a conference just so I could get out of work for a Friday afternoon or something like that. We've all done it. We're all guilty of it. I know I've done it. But But when you attended, do you remember what grabbed you about that first time you went in there?
There was a speaker there that pretty much was on the same. He had taken the same journey that I was beginning to take. I cannot remember the gentleman's name, but he had come off the floor and he had got involved in safety. And his passion and his desire to keep people safe was something that really grabbed me. And I had been in situations where, you get in situations where you hear safety's first and we look out for our people, and then you can go out in the area, in the plant, and realize that's not true. And so I've been in certain situations where your life actually is in danger. And if you're not looking out for yourself, you can really be hurt. And it kind of dawned on me that you need somebody at a facility that is looking out for your interests, that is not, their number one job is not production. Their number one job is to make sure that you get home the same way that you came in. And that from that point, it just kind of fueled that desire inside of me. And the Wilmington Safety School allowed me to get started on that journey.
That is so cool. I really appreciate you sharing that. I think that so often people don't go into safety management on purpose. I know for me personally, I got into safety completely by accident. It was what I call a happy accident because it's one of the best things that ever happened to me. But it's not like I was a 12-year-old dreaming of being a safety manager when I got older. But I had that's just not what happened. But I had a very similar experience to what you just said, because it hit me one day, and I won't go into my long story, but the short of it is I was talking with a safety manager one day that I had immense respect for, and I realized he really cares about his people. Like, yeah, we got to do OSHA regulations. Yeah, we got to do this paperwork. Yeah, we got to do this training. But at the heart of it was he wanted every single person to go home at the end of the day to their family. And I think most upper management, they just want that, but they don't really think about how to make it happen. And like you said, sometimes you can say safety's first and safety's number one, but then you walk out in the plant and you realize, man, there's a hard drive to get production and get that box out the door. So there's definitely a need for somebody in that facility that is focused, laser focused on, hey, we want everybody to go home and be safe at the end of the day. Let me pivot a little bit. I want to ask you, the world is changing so fast, and we'll get to some of the speakers in just a minute that are going to be at the conference. But I know there's a big push towards AI. There's a big push towards change. What are some of the problems that you see safety managers facing today? Like, just in terms of the way business is going, what are some of the common issues that you see coming up for safety managers?
I think one of the really big ones is what you just mentioned, the introduction of AI, and how it the role that it's going to play in safety, and the things that it is capable of doing now, and you being able as a safety manager to go into site directors or corporate sponsors, whoever it may be, and convince them of the fact that this is a good thing, because it's new, and my generation, we don't really understand it. We can talk to Gemini and we can find out who won the game last night, but to really get into AI and have it work for you is difficult. I saw something the other day where now they have AI and ergonomics, and you can put a strap on one of your employees' arms, and it'll read their stress, it'll read their muscle stress, it'll read their heat stress, and it'll report back to you. And you have different employees here, and it'll let you know when they get into that type of thing. While extremely helpful, most of your older safety managers don't know about it, but it's trending that direction. So I think learning AI and how to use it in safety is a big thing for safety managers. I really look forward to see what new safety managers are going to do and how they're going to, they may be able to avoid some of the pitfalls that you and I had to go through because they do have this new technology. You know, that's to me, I think that's the biggest thing going now for safety managers, or the biggest challenge, trying to work their way into AI and make it work for them.
Yeah, and I think, you can't talk about AI these days without people worried about their jobs. People are worried it's going to replace them. Um, I might be completely ignorant, but I really believe that safety managers are going to benefit immensely because we're still dealing with people. And when you deal with people
Mhm.
and you're training people, you're dealing with communication, you're dealing with leadership. And I think AI is going to help with that, but they're not going to replace the human to human, aspect of changing behavior, getting people to understand with their head and their heart why we have to do it that way versus just coming at them and saying, well, this is what we have to do. People aren't robots. And while I work with a lot of companies that have robots and different technology in the company, they're still full of people. And when you got people, you're going to have the
Exactly.
same behavior issues. You got to come up with challenges and ways to improve it. So, yeah, I think that's huge. Can you share with us some of the speakers that are going to be at the safety school?
Yes, as a matter of fact, we have a keynote speaker, Dr. Athena Schrader. She's going to be speaking on AI and how and its effect in safety. Um, so we're looking forward to that. She is the keynote speaker on Friday. On Thursday, we have Bill Sims Jr. He's a national keynote speaker. Um, he's been around a long time. He's the green beans and ice cream, if you've read that. So he's really into behavioral safety. It made his mark in that area, and he's going to be speaking on what makes great leaders great. And then we break off into different breakout sessions. We have everything from construction safety all the way to falls protection, hearing conservation. We've got some on uh, being able to, I think one of the ones we're looking forward to is the fully loaded defense, knowing what to do in case of active shooters and things of that nature. And I just found out today that's going to be more demonstration than just PowerPoint. So he's looking to put on a good class. And then, of course, we have you coming in speaking as well. So we got a variety of speakers and a variety of topics. And I think it's going to be really, really good this year.
Yeah, I do too. I'm excited about it. When I saw it come across my Facebook feed and I saw that we were going to have a speaker there dedicated to AI, I was excited because I knew, just like we said, that's one of the biggest challenges. It'll be interesting. I'm going to be taking some notes. I tell you, that's something I'm really looking forward to. I'll
Me
put you on
too.
the spot. Talking about technology, we got computers, we got videos. Right now, you guys are listening to a podcast. What is the benefit of going to an in-person conference versus just watching a YouTube video?
I think it's what you mentioned earlier, the culture, the networking, the people. Um, I think you can learn so much more and take so much more away and take it back to your company with face-to-face training. I think you and I seem to be very similar as far as that's concerned. A lot of people can read the rule, OSHA 1910.147, hazardous energy. Okay, that's great. But can you make that make sense to the person sitting in front of you? And that's hard to do with the video or reading it off a PowerPoint. But when you can bring that home, when you can affect change and affect culture, you get that in your one-on-one or your face-to-face presentations. So to me, almost everything is learned better in person, especially in safety, when you're trying to build behaviors and change things mindsets that may have been that way for years and years. And so that in-person training, that to me, that's where you need to be. And the Wilmington Safety School affects change. I've seen it several times. It brings change. It makes people think, and you're able to move around and get different perspectives. And even listening to people talk at lunch on what they got out of each class, and your vendors, getting to meet them as well. So it's really beneficial to be there in person.
It is. It's immersive, meaning, I mean, we live in a world of smartphones and everyone's got a phone in their pocket. And when you go to a live event in the Wilmington Safety School, I didn't want to forget to make sure I made this known. The dates are July 16th and July 17th, which is a Thursday and a Friday. And I believe it's always 2 days. Isn't that right? Is it always a 2-day event?
That's correct. A day and a half. Yeah. The Friday,
a day and a half.
we
Okay.
get out at 12 o'clock. Mm-hmm.
Hey, yeah, can't beat that. So no, that's what I was thinking. So you've got a day and a half of immersion where you go, you're around people, and even if you're the only one from your company, which that's the way I was when I worked at American Skin in Burgaw. The very first time I attended, and I remember I went, I was the only person from my company that went, but you're surrounded by other safety minded individuals. And whether it's your first time and you're green and you don't know anything, or whether you're experienced, you can meet people, you can learn things, you can talk about things. And oftentimes I learn more from the people there than the people presenting, not because the people presenting aren't giving good information, but because you will strike up a conversation or a friendship with somebody in the room and they might be facing the same exact problem you're facing. We're all, we all have the same issues going on. We got the same challenges that we have to get through. And so it's pretty, sometimes I say this, and you might have heard this, but sometimes safety, you can feel like you're on an island where you're just kind of doing your own thing. And it feels so refreshing to be around other safety managers. And you're like, okay, I'm not crazy. You know what? We're all dealing with some of the same stuff. And you might have a solution that I haven't even thought about yet.
That's right. Yeah. And it is, like you say, it's refreshing. And one other good thing about the Wilmington Safety School is you've got people from all walks, from frontline supervision to manufacturing experts on the floor to safety professionals, to plant and site directors, and everybody is in there to learn safety and to help. And so when our goal is for whatever role you have in your company, for you to be able to take something back and to affect change and to affect safety. So we've never wanted people to think, well, I'm not a safety professional, there's no need for me to be there. No, that's why we have so many different subjects, from medical things to police to fire to whatever it may be. We want to have everybody there that works at a company. We want to reach out to everybody. Like I said, when I first went, I had nothing to do with safety. I was on the safety committee, but my job was a chemical operator. And so you never know what's going to affect the person. But if your operator is working safe, then everybody else from there on up works safe as well. So that's the kind of change we like to affect at the Wilmington Safety School.
And I'll say this too, it's a great way to encourage and pour into young leaders. I mean, like you were saying, your situation was a little bit different than mine, but when you're on the safety committee and they say, hey, you know what, we got a conference coming up in July, we'd love for you to go, and you feel like your company is investing in you, and then you can take that and you can run with it. And when you get back to, the next safety committee meeting, you got knowledge you didn't have before. We kind of touched on a little bit, but I want to make sure we really nail this on the head. Who is this conference for? Like if you're listening to this right now and you think, I don't know if this is for me, who would benefit from going to the Wilmington Safety School?
If you are a frontline supervisor, team captain, or whatever they call them nowadays, if you are a safety professional, if you are a person that works in any type of manufacturing, if you are someone that works in any type of emergency services, if you are someone that runs a whole corporation, you will benefit from the Wilmington Safety School. There's something there for everybody. And again, the networking and the camaraderie will help out as well. And I don't want anybody to think that we're just we're just there with classes all day. We are having a little event Thursday evening as well for those that want to participate. We're going to be at the rooftop over at the rooftop bar across the street, and we're going to we like to socialize as well as educate. So, everybody that comes to the school will get free entry into that. I think we're going to have little hors d'oeuvres. We're going to have drink specials. So the networking continues. So, as much as we like to have an education, we like to have fun too. And you get a chance to meet our board members. It's really a good time. It's really a good Thursday and Friday. I think everybody that comes will really enjoy it.
Well, Damian, I'm looking forward to it. I want to tie a bow on it by telling you having you tell the listener where they could actually register for this. What's the best way to learn more about it?
If you go to wilmingtonsafetyschool.com, you can see the agenda for the school. You can see where the school is going to be at, and you can register there. We hope that you register yourself and one other person, and come out and really have a good time and enjoy the Wilmington Safety School.
Yeah. And if you're happen to watching the video of this, you can see I'm holding up the agenda right here. There is a wealth of speakers and presenters that are going to be there. Yours truly is going to be there. I'm going to be doing a session talking about overwhelmed to OSHA ready. But I can see I'm excited. There's another one going talking about the power of stories and safety. And lots of other breakout sessions where you can kind of pick and choose your adventure as far as how you want to spend your time that day. And we're wrapping it up by having Luke Farley, the Commissioner of Labor, talk at the very end to kind of close out the session. And I'm excited. I've never met him. I'm looking forward to meeting him in person. So yeah, this is going to be a good event. And if you're listening to this and you think, well, I'm nowhere near Wilmington, why are we talking about this? There is a safety school or a safety conference in your neck of the woods somewhere. Take the time, get on Google, get on AI and find out where the closest conference or safety school is near you. It is worth your time, and it's definitely worth the price of admission because it's one of those things that it sticks with you. The event will stay with you. I always try to attend at least 2 or 3 of these a year in different parts of the state and different parts, even online sessions, especially during COVID. There was lots of online streaming sessions, but nothing really replaces the in-person live aspect of doing a conference like this. So, Damian, is there anything I left off? Anything that we need to tell them that we forgot to tell them?
No, I think you did an excellent job. And again, I really appreciate you not only just being a part of the safety school, coming to do a presentation, but allowing us to get out there and really get the safety school out to people. Even though we are the oldest safety school in the state of North Carolina, I think sometimes we're overlooked by some of we're overshadowed by some of the bigger ones. But we do want people to know that right here on the East Coast, you really have an option to get some excellent safety training, excellent culture training, behavioral training. And we hope that you'll take advantage and come on out to the Wilmington Safety School.
I couldn't have said it better myself. Damian, thank you for your time. I'm looking forward to being there. I'll see you in just a couple weeks.
Sounds good. Thank you.
Well, hey, friend, thanks so much for tuning into this and sticking around all the way to the end. I hope you enjoyed that interview I did with Damian. He is a fantastic safety manager, has been doing it for years, and really understands the benefit of a local conference. So your homework, your action steps, if you want to grow as a safety manager and grow as a leader, find a conference that you can go attend this year. As I'm recording this and it's going to launch on July 1st, go to a safety conference sometime between now and the end of the year. If you're at the Wilmington Safety School, come up to me, say, hey, I'm speaking there. I would love to talk with you. If you want to book me to speak, please reach out. I'd be happy to. I am looking to put more speaking dates on the calendar coming up in the next year. So having said that, one last thing I want to share with you. If you haven't already done so, go to my website, helpwithosha.com, and you can access a free OSHA audit checklist. This is a fantastic way to get started. If you don't know where to start here. Go to my website, helpwithosha.com, access the free OSHA audit checklist, and it will show you not just what you need to know today, but it'll also show you how you can prepare your team in the event of an unexpected OSHA audit. Until we talk again, do everything you can to keep the people you work with safe, because no one should get hurt at work.